right, hey collective, welcome back. We're gonna do something that I think would be very helpful, very helpful. We're gonna talk to your shadow. Okay, so we have three decks we're gonna use. All right, we're gonna work with your shadow because in actuality, you need your shadow. You can't leave without your shadow. You need to cleanse your shadow of all the things that you hide and realize that those are some of your best attributes about who you are. You don't, it's to sit like, because I'll even point this out, because I struggled with it for a minute as well. So I'll be transparent and help you by helping myself as well. So I struggled a lot with um my sexual uh being. You know what I mean? You you walk around people who are super opinionative over what you can do or what you can't do. Um, and then as well on top of that, sometimes you are told that you don't perform the best, or these things right there where that you end up pushing it into your shadow because you feel like you're not good, or maybe you're just uncomfortable with being sexual due to the past, sexual assault, rape. I've gone through that too. Like it's things you really have to look at and see that the reason they hinder you is because you pushed them back into your shadow and you haven't paid attention to them. That's why we do shadow work because we need to free ourselves. We don't need to be in guilt for who we are because we came down here perfect. We came down here perfectly imperfect the way that we're supposed to be. And when you don't listen to your shadow, you hinder yourself from experiencing why you came down here in the first place. To experience all these things because that's who you are and it's okay. I don't it's religion that's fucked it up and I'll keep it a bean and put my foot down real hard on that one because religion makes you fucking feel guilty and like shameful and sinful for doing this shit. Meanwhile, the same preachers and shit are going behind stage molesting kids, fucking and sucking all day fucking long. Hands up, because y'all should know this by now. I ain't here to fuck around. I'm here to bust the truth open, and we gotta bust some asses while we do it too, but with love and light, of course. Anyway, anywho, we're gonna jump into the shadows. Let's see what's going on because they like right there, people might think that's a perfect example. Thank you, Spirit. Right there, people might think, and I'll break down the process right there. So instead of me thinking, because I immediately got some people might think you're mean by saying that. I immediately, instead of being like, oh my God, yeah, I should feel bad. No, of course. It might seem mean to some people, but that's who I am. That's my authentic being. That's me being authentic. I'm not going to sugarcoat something because I want the truth. I'm a truth speaker. I don't care about your feelings. I care about the truth. That's what I care about. That doesn't mean I'm trying to purposely hurt your feelings, but I understand that sometimes you need to feel something for it to take effect. That's like a form of love. It's an unconditional love. And it's understanding that allows me to not let that hinder me. It allows me to express myself more fully. It doesn't hinder me. It doesn't make me feel like I'm a bad person. It doesn't put me back into my shadow aspect of myself. It instead shines light to the shadow so the shadow can be like, yeah, you're just standing on what you say. You're just really not going to be moved off this thing because of what you've seen and what you've experienced in life. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks because they haven't seen what you've seen. So their opinion doesn't fucking matter because it's an opinion. It's not a fact, it's an opinion. Understand? And that's the beautiful part about your shadow is that it will come through and backbone you. Because when you're in this light energy, you're peaceful. You don't want to cause disruption or to cause anger or any sort of ill intent. And your shadow side knows that's not what the fuck you're here to do in the first place, anyway. And even your soul knows that. So your soul and your shadow work together by knowing the same thing, but your shadow takes it differently than your soul will. It's up to your soul to shine the light in the shadow to be like, hey, no, it's actually this what you're looking for. You're looking for the other reason that doesn't exist. You're looking for this gem right here, the reason why you did it in the first place. So, without further ado, we're going to jump into the shadow that needs to be acknowledged. And I invite you to talk and be like, shadow side, come out. Like, come on, shadow. Like, invite your shadow to watch the video with you. You know what I mean? Because you need to talk to it. It's like your best friend, It's you. So, let's jump to the Tarot of Shadows, funnily enough. And we're gonna get, let's get what's weighing on the heart what's happening in the shadow of the heart, what's happening in the shadow of the mind, and what's happening in the shadow of the gut. We can do that. I like that. We're not taking reversals. We don't need reversals, so don't worry about if it pops in reverse. Just saying that out loud so I know. And as well, so my shadow doesn't be like, oh, but you used to do that because we evolve, you know? We got to set new rules for new things. Notice how I'm immediately being tested by the cards flying everywhere. The divine loves to. I love how I said the divine loves to, and that was Asmodeus. It's really trying to see if I'm gonna fall back. I love it. See, it's a beautiful symbolisms that we have here. Um, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So let's split this three times since we are doing three areas. We'll shuffle three more times. And then we're gonna split with the left. And the reason we split with the left is to allow the divine to choose where we split and not the mind. And I guess you two can go there too, because I don't want to do that. So we have you. For the heart, we have Ariman. And I'm gonna ask for you all to please have respect. I'm gonna say this right now. Have respect not only for others, but for you. If you do not feel at this time that this resonates with you with any way, shape, or form, and this takes you to be very conscious and to listen, not to hear, so pay very close attention because you can't get healing if you're not paying attention. Okay? So listen, we respect heavily. If it's not for you, don't go in the comments and I don't this isn't for me. That's so negative. Have respect for some people because you know what? You used to be in those positions. And some people need this advice to get out of that position. So please be respectful. Please have the courtesy to keep it to yourself if it's not for you. Show some consciousness, please. You don't have to, but I'd rather not have you look like an asswipe in front of 20,000 people. I'm just being like that. Let's just get it real. Because I'm not trying to be mean, but let's put some rules down. Please be respectful. And it's not even directed towards anyone. You all are very lovely people, but in general, just setting that boundary down, please be respectful because some people have to go through things more than others, and that's okay. There's no shame in the game because we're all playing the same game, okay? So understand that, please. Um, and I as well, I'll say it from a personal standpoint too, because there were times in my journey where I would do certain readings and I would, someone would relate to something and then someone else would be like, oh, that's gross. And it'd be like, well, why are you saying that out loud? Because there's like, keep it to yourself, please. Okay. So we have Ahriman. Um, and this card meeting is a charlatan, cynic, materialism, extremist, vengefulness, selfishness, dishonor, meanness, deceit, bad advice, sarcasm, rigid rationalism, fanaticism, racism, aggression, greed, highly intelligent, monetary fraud, concealment of income, misleading information, breaking with conviction, putting up the mask, embezzlement, loss, damages, and cold logic. Now, immediately when I was reading this, understand this is not about anyone else. This is you and your shadow. Okay, so if you want to project it onto anyone else, just know that we all see you and you can't accept it right now. That's perfectly fine, but accountability will save you a lot more stress than disagreements, okay? Denial is the first step, understandable, but you have to accept it at some point, okay? So with your heart, there's something about materialism in the shadow of your heart. Now, this isn't good or bad either, so remember that. Don't say it's good or bad. That's your first mistake, and we'll call it that because you didn't know. All right, so this is not good or bad. This is what your soul desires. Your soul desires a materialistic energy, shelter. Maybe that new item, the new tarot deck you want, whatever you want, this new materialistic item that you're wanting, or maybe if it's even growth on the material realm. That's what your heart, your subconscious, your soul wants you to do, right? But it also knows that you have this in the shadow as well with that materialism. You have this sense of greed and evil, like it's not supposed to be there. And it might have been because you dealt with someone who was embezzling money, or maybe you had a past where you were being stolen from, or you just met materialistic people that were snoopy and snotty. You know what I mean? So you end up using this cold logic. and just being like every materialistic person's this way. Well, if every materialistic person's that way and you don't want to be that way, then you're never going to receive the materialism that you want. And though you might be okay with that, it's something that you're going to have a deep yearning for, and you might end up on your deathbed and be like, damn, I kind of wanted to do this. So allow yourself to release yourself. Talk to your shadow so deeply about materialism. What do you find good? Now, this is a good exercise. Please get a piece of paper and a pen at any point and just write down, like, what do you find good about materialism? What do you find to be bad about it? What do you find about materialism that intrigues you? What do you see about materialism that disgusts you? Don't focus on people, focus on this spirit of materialism, the spirit of having things on the physical. This could even be an issue with monetizing your spiritual gifts, which, let me be real here. Let me just keep it to you tenfold and forever. It's not bad to make money off of your gifts. You're given these abilities to do things. It's like telling a painter, oh, you can't get money because you paint. It's like telling a comedian, oh, you shouldn't get money for making people laugh. You know? It's the same thing as that. So understand, break these things down. Are you saying that you shouldn't do that? Is it like a personal preference that you wouldn't do it? Then that's good. Keep it to yourself because that's you and that's your issue that you're going to have to deal with. And it's an issue because it's not saying that issues are good or bad, but an issue is something that is popped up. Thank you, Angel, for popping here. Hello. Sorry, a little angel flew around. I seen it. But this is also Taurus energy. This has a lot to do with your work. You could have a something to do with your work. Maybe you feel like you have to overwork to receive something. And with this being so, again, please don't be like, "Oh my God, it's evil." Like, chill out. Like, maybe it's evil because you have a very evil way of looking at it. It's a pentagram, okay? When the star is like this is matter over mind. Okay? When the point is at the top, it's mind over matter. This is just a human body. Remember the pentagram, a star, we're a star. It's why in so many you see it in the Agrippa, you see it in all sorts of alchemical art, the naked man or the woman, the two-headed man or two-headed woman, arms stretched out, the star pose, that's all that's talking about. Are you ruled by Saturn, by the physical? By Satan. That's the physical. That's what we understand in esotericism when we dig deep into the true meanings and not the personified man version because man wants you to be fucking scared of everything. Right? Movies included. Stop watching scary movies about shit like this if it like contorts you because it's not evil. It's just they're trying to show you a one-sided image of a whole spectrum of what happens. You know what I mean? Understand there's more than one side to everything. There's even a penny has two sides, so just keep it real. Seriously. So this is matter over mind. This is you using the external. Your heart's trying to show you. Your shadow is so stuck on looking at the external and being like, oh, if I'm not getting all these things, and this could even be, I'll use myself as an example because for a while I struggled with it when I made the change to start speaking about esotericism and what the divine has put me to speak here about. I started seeing a decrease in my finances and my numbers, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like this, I was like, "Am I even doing the right thing?" I don't feel like I'm doing the right thing because I'm losing all this stuff. And I had to remember the loss is good because I'm losing those energies that were just hogging shit up that weren't even doing anything with it. I had to get rid of them and bring in people that were actually going to use the energy because if not, it's me wasting it. So of course I'm going to see a decrease because that decrease wasn't an authentic energy. If it was authentic, it would have stayed. And it's not to say that, if you leave, you're inauthentic. No, no, no. I'm saying if they were there for the true purpose of healing, for their authentic reason, for why I'm here, for my authentic reason, they came for healing. So if they left, they've either healed, and there have been many people that tell me that they have regained their peace in life. And thank you, not even me, but thank you genuinely for taking the time to love yourself enough to listen to what the mirror version of yourself has to say. I'm proud of all of you who have gained even the slightest amount of peace, even if it's tiny amount of peace. I'm proud of you to the moon. I'm more proud than words can ever say because it has nothing to do with me and everything to do with you because you're the one that's digesting it. So pat yourself on the back and understand this. And this might be something you need to understand as well. And even for me, I had to realize like, just because things are happening on the physical doesn't mean I'm not doing it. I was helping people, but what was being shown on the physical was the shadow, was the decrease, was the things that I knew it was going to happen, and that's okay. So understand it as well. Don't let matter control you. Don't let the materialistic, and it might even have to do with like Hollywood. You're afraid of becoming like one of those fucking Hollywood baby sacrificing and baby eating adrenochrome freaks. You know what I mean? You're not. That's your shadow side showing you that's what we don't want to do. We don't want that. So don't worry about that, you know? We want is the joy, the energy that comes to materialism, the freedom. That's what we want to do is to be free, and it's hard to. So with that materialism, it's like maybe you might even feel like you don't have the materials to do what you want, you know? I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm gonna keep it tenfold. If you can talk and if you have pen and paper, even if you could just talk, you know, you can do it. You don't have to be you don't have to excel at what you know. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that I would learn at the beginning of the classes, there was things that I was either learning about or refreshing about, right? And as I was learning and refreshing myself about it, I would tell you all and teach you all. You know, that do it like that. It's the experience, it's the growth that the person has that matters. And that's what your soul wants you to see is the material growth. The fact that you've gained more than you've lost, but you've lost is this past version of yourself that built you up to where you're at now. Those parts of you can't be sufficient to where you're at now. You're at a totally different level. So that's what's going on with the subconscious. Let me see if there's any other words in here. Deceit, meanness, dishonor, bad advice. Yeah, there is something as well about like receiving some sort of bad advice from your shadow as well. Maybe your shadow is trying to tell you that you're too mean or too pushy, or you're arrogant, or you're an asshole for standing up for yourself, and none of those things are true. Those aspects of the shadow only had light put onto them because someone else said something to you, and then you accepted it as that. And that doesn't mean that you're a bad person, but that just means you are so aware of your impact, how your energy impacts people and how your energy impacts things, that you understand that that is a possibility that that could happen. It's like when I even said at one time, like, you know, when people say like, if you're trying not to be mean, then don't say you're not trying to be mean, right? But it's the understanding of you knowing that it can come off as mean. But are you trying to be mean with it or not? Are you trying to actually educate or are you trying to be snobby about it? That's the difference. And that's the only thing that you can decide. You know, that's the only thing that you have to worry about. And it's not about calling someone out or being right or wrong, but it's about allowing that consciousness to be there. And these are things that I talk about 24/7, you know. So understanding that that all comes from that subconscious heart, the shadow of the subconscious, the shadow of the heart that you need to start focusing on a little bit more. Let's get three more shuffles in here, and we're gonna find out what's on the conscious shadow. So what's going on with the conscious shadow? That well, there is something healing because Chiron popped out, but we're not gonna focus on that. So there is conscious healing. You are being very aware of how you want to heal, which is good. We have Fantasy Lord, which is number 77. I should say uh Ahriman is 5, and this is 77, so that's like what, 14, 5? Yeah, 5. Sorry. So we're at 5, 5. We have 2, 5, that's 10. So there is something completing. There has been something that you've been fighting yourself. I feel like this is a fight between your mind and your heart because you mm, yeah, this is beautiful. What I'm getting, it's so interesting. I'm sorry, I haven't got this energy before. And then I got a notification on my phone and it didn't tie in with anything with this at all. But when I read it, more of this information kind of clicked. And it's like you're playing this weird trick on yourself with your shadow because your shadow of your subconscious is fighting your shadow in your consciousness because you're consciously aware of what you think, what your beliefs are, right? You know what your beliefs are. You don't know where they come from. You might not know where they fully come from, but you know which beliefs are for you, which are not. And you're in this battle. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm telling you, it's something about you see where you're supposed to be, but because you're not there, you feel like it's not able to happen. With Fantasy Lord, extrasensory perception, moral purification, prophetic dreams, consciousness. I mean, yeah, consciousness, yeah. Psychological regeneration, wishful thinking, fantasy, muddled thinking, unrealistic expectations, altered states of mind, yearning, scattered energies, illusion, vision, lack of concentration, idolized view of reality. So there is some sort of putting on a pedestal, and I'm getting Aquarius energy with this like Poseidon looking dude. The camera's inverted, but it is something about yourself, and that just makes a lot of sense with how everything. And there's a little baby in the water. This is like this is you almost protecting your inner child from being hurt because of how things have gone in the past. But there's also some sort of like inner child shadow. This could be like a mistake that you made. But again, this is so interesting now because it's just more, it's like your inner child and your conscious mind are in a combat against your heart shadow. It's like you want to defend something. It's like you don't want to let go. There's some sort of, and this could have to do with karma. This could have to be with you wanting to see someone get their karma, or if this is even like a court date, you not receiving what you want and you keep putting in this action and it's coming from this inner child wound. It's like you must release your control. You have done all you can with all that you know. It's time to release and to really move on and to free yourself. Because something's only an illusion. It's like there's something that you desire, but it's not, it's an illusion. But all you desire is to gain. What you really want to do with your inner child is really want to like free yourself. There's this energy of this has to happen, and if this doesn't happen, then I'm not going to be able to move on to the next level. And that's what's keeping you held back because your soul, your heart, subconscious knows that you don't need that. Because it's even in the shadow where you're like, I don't give a damn about this person. I don't care about that person. They just need to go away and get out of my energy. But then your inner child and your thought consciousness have this shadow still of wanting to get at someone. And let me tell you something, the best way to get back at someone is getting back to yourself. Let's keep it real. The best way to get back at anyone is to just focus on yourself. Like what else like are they're just wanting that reaction out of you, right? And I had to go through it. Like y'all can even look at my channel whenever I had the roommate turning off the power and shit in my room and slamming doors and being loud and shit. They wanted a reaction out of me. I don't care. Do what you want to do. Let your inner child run free. It needs that attention and that I wasn't gonna give it because I'm not your fucking mama. You know what I mean? Like you have to step into that shadow energy of I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad. I don't care. You have these issues because you aren't doing something, and I have my issues because I'm not doing something, and I'm going to focus on me. And if you want to make an issue so that I can focus more on it, then have an issue trying to get me to focus on it because I ain't going to pay attention. You know what I mean? And that's what you need to do. So there is this inner child protection, but this protection, you're wanting to see it happen on the physical when this protection needs to happen internally and for the self. Oh, confirmation. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. They got my phone going. Um, they got my phone doing its thing. I don't know if I'm gonna have like I don't want to turn my notification. I don't want to turn on the noise. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But this could be about something about that. Like there's something you need to turn on, or there's something that you need to see within yourself. There is also some sort of fantasy, some sort of dream, or idolized perception that you've been wanting since a child. Maybe you've always felt like that superhero or that princess, or you like had some sort of story that you like told yourself as a child. You are that. Don't like move forward with that energy. That's you. That's why I tell everyone that I'm Anubis. I don't give a fuck if you believe me or not. I know who I am because every day I live how I believe that Anubis would live, with transitioning, with taking care of the dead. And the dead are only asleep. The dead are only sleeping. The dead are only in a sleep state. The soul never dies, and I know these things, and that's why I step so heavily into this energy, and I take it. People might say a little too seriously, but I say I take it just as I need to, where I speak on what I speak on, with how bold I speak on it, and how long I'll speak on it. It's because deep down within me, I know that I am Anubis. I hold the key to paradise, to peace, to self-love. And I use the energies of the shadow. I use the energies of the heart. I use the energies of ceremony, of burying yourself, what you've wrapped yourself around in the flesh, understanding that the flesh must be covered with holy sacred scarves to protect itself from the entities within, without, and within, and all these things. It it's this embodiment of that energy that you must take. It's the revival of the inner child, and that's the imagination that's killed. I even remember as a child, I used to have random dance parties with strangers, not like in a house, but I would walk outside and walk up to groups of people and just start busting a move, like just dancing. Like I used to just be very light. And part of my healing journey is revitalizing that part of me again, because that's been hidden. It's been scrutinized. I remember, well, because it was kind of funny, because I had a friend whose mom was super Christian, and she hate well, not mom, but aunt, and she fucking hated me. Every time I would be happy, she would think that I was gay. And I mean, I was gay, but why does liking a man contribute to being happy? I mean, maybe if you're into it, it makes you happy, but what does that contribute with walking up to groups of random people and dancing? Walking up to random groups of girls and just dancing, walking up to like random groups of like people and just dancing. What does that have to do with liking another man? It's idiocracy that puts you in these stupid positions. And it took me a while to realize, but I was young at the time, and I was already struggling with not only my whole family not liking me, but my entire whole county not liking me. And then also part of the county hitting my DMs up and asking for shit low key, which was kind of weird that I had to deal with. I had to go through that whole experience. People that make fun of you for being gay want a piece of you. People that like make fun of you for what you do, they want a piece of that action. I'm letting you know. That's the only reason they're bringing attention to it, because they want to. You know what I mean? Y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Especially the ones that know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. God bless those souls. They lost, baby. They lost as fuck. They lost in broad daylight. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I gotta give them grace, y'all. Give them grace. Thanks, Spirit. No, but it's important to work with your shadow. And notice as well, like, laughing about the shadow helps, because the shadow doesn't understand why that shit happened. And it's just like, why the fuck did this happen again? You have to make humor, bring light to it. Be like, yeah, it's just people were just hating on me because I was happy and they were miserable. Fucking, I don't know how old she was, but older woman, married, had her own house, had a child, had a dog, had a big ass yard, went to church every Sunday, lived the life that they wanted to, still miserable as fuck. Can't get it, man. Like, come on. Oh, because some little kid likes another man. And that, like, you really have to break it down like that. Like, people don't like you because of those small little things, because you live this happy, free life. They choose to sit in the cage and they want you to feel bad for them. Fuck them. Oh, you're sitting in the cage? That sucks for you. You can open it at any time. The key's right in front of you. So allow yourself to know that. And if you're struggling, it's okay. This isn't to say, this isn't a you thing. This is me saying, if people around you, when they said things, when they attach themselves to you, because you weren't able, or you didn't have the tools to heal from it, right? Now you do have these tools. Now it's time to look at them and see them for what they were, you know? And not the flesh, it's the entity. I know I point out the people all the time, but it's for simplicity's sake, because I could go deeper than I go when I talk about these things, but it's not everyone is that aware. Like there's not many people that will think on the level that I truly think on. And as we grow with this channel, of course, we'll get deeper, but it's important to get the surface understood before we do anything else, because you'll get even more lost without the surface, trust me. So let's see, what is going on with the gut? What's going on with the gut? Simon Seer, 26, 8. So there is some sort of test. I feel like this is a test. This is some sort of yeah, okay. Because before I get into anything with the numerology just being the way it is and the way that I'm picking up this energy, there is this literal split of consciousness where you just it's like, I mean, look at this photo. It's all right there too. You feel like you deserve to be crucified. The camera's in the middle, child, because you feel I love it. But you feel like you should be punished. And you have this other part of, oh my God, you have this other part of you that's like, you don't, no, you don't. Like, understand. And of course, it's biblical, and we're not going to jump into the biblical meaning because this book already does. But we're going to see what it's talking about. Let's see what's going on with this. What's going on with your gut. Now, with your heart is the subconscious, but your gut fuels your subconscious, right? So this is a situation. This is really I like this. I like the way that Spirit let me do this, and I like the way the cards have kind of come out too, because it really shows an interesting split where you're trying to plead with yourself, but you're unable to. So, yeah, we have here it is split personality mental disorder, which I'm not going to worry about that word. We have inflated self-esteem, megalomania, sadism or masochism, incitement to suicide, overloaded, heavy responsibilities, overexertion, overtaxing oneself, self-imposed obligations, excessive burdens, victim by force or by choice, a sacrifice for higher cause, an invitation to manipulate. Okay. I gotta read my ad. We also have unwillingness to donate, unwillingness to help, cowardice, indifference, it's not my problem attitude. So there is a need to check that. And I feel like this is a bit of ego, a bit of ego and soul battling where and it comes with this agitation energy where it's like it's not your fault, so why do you have to deal with it? And it's because the issue that you're looking at isn't your fault, but you're not looking at your own faults. There's this not you're not willing to compromise with yourself, and that's why things are being pushed into the shadow, and that's why you feel like you're struggling and it feels like you're being hurt more. It's because you're not listening to the one person that's trying to give you advice, the best advice, which is you. And I mean, it really comes down to being transparent with yourself and accepting that everyone is born innocent, and the fact that you want to call someone guilty of something, no matter what the point is, that you also have to accept that guilt. You have to take accountability. If you put blame on something, well, that's your fault because you're putting blame on it. It doesn't matter, you're putting the cause on that person. So why are you doing that? That's your fault. You're at fault for blaming the flesh because it's not the flesh. You have to understand that, and until you do, you're gonna be stuck on the 3D because you're using a 3D matter to take. You know what I mean? I don't know because I'm getting the backlash instantly, so I understand the full thing because my shadow's talking to me fully about this, and it's something I've already healed from. But I'm glad that it's coming in and allowing me to re-experience it because it's like oh they need to take accountability. Well, you do too. Oh well, they shouldn't have done that. Well, you shouldn't have done anything either. Or maybe you should have done something different. Everything could have been different, but you went through it to learn the lessons that you wanted to. And you might be thinking, I don't need to learn any lessons. If you didn't need to learn any lessons, you wouldn't have gone through it. You were at a wrong point at one point. You were wrong at one point. You were wrong at one time. You have to accept that. I mean, I say you have to because that's what your soul wants you to do. But if you don't accept it, you're just going to prolong everything. You have to take accountability for everything, you know? And it's like, yeah, like even like I'll even do it right now for you. Thank you, Spirit. They got me this idea with me dancing and stuff. Is people thinking that that's gay? Of course, like yeah, fine. Like I might have danced a little bit flamboyantly. That's my fault. Yeah, I'm a flamboyant dancer. I didn't know how. I don't even know how. I did Zumba growing up. You know what I mean? So of course I'm gonna be moving my hips. Of course I'm gonna be moving the core areas. Of course I'm gonna be doing pops and locks and shit. So of course it's gonna look gay. Of course it's gonna look flamboyant. Is that an issue? No. It's an issue to them. Their lesson is to stop being so judgmental. My lesson is to stop being so self conscious. That might be your lesson as well, to stop being so self conscious. Because that self conscious leads to judgment, you know? I can't tell them to not be self conscious because, they might not have the ability to. And if they did, they wouldn't have been putting that judgment out. But as you, as someone who is on the opposing side, you have to understand is I got to be more conscious about these things. I'm about to get into an interaction that is going to keep an energy with people. I have to be aware of this, you know? So what's going on with this with the voice of the souls? Let's get two cards with this spirit. Let's get two. Let's just get one for the conscious. Actually, let's just get one for the self. Let's just get two for the self. We don't need anything for the conscious with these. These are all really relating to you, truly. It's the voice of your soul. So let's just get two for yourself here. So we're going to split this two ways. There we go. Two. Happiness. Six. What you're doing, what you're going through right now is the stages of finding your happiness again. You're remembering what makes you happy. And that's what your shadow wants you to do, because what makes you happy is in your shadow. Because when we feel rejected or when we become rejected by people for showing who we are, we push that in our shadow, um, because we want them to be happy as well. We want them to experience what we experience, and we think that by dimming our light, that we get to share their happiness, but we don't. We live in their content. So if they become even more unhappy, we have to sacrifice more of ourself um in that way. So let's read about happiness here. So happiness, your soul wants you to know happiness is within your reach. Its creation begins inside of you. Even if your outer environment seems complicated, don't worry, happiness is there. I already feel it, and I send you much love so you can see it, then carry it onto your outer life. You have worked on yourself and now are aware of how to create this inner happiness. If this is not yet the case, know that you will soon share it with people you love. You are a wonderful person, and I'm proud of you been, because you have the daring to tell it to yourself. Sometimes you say it timidly, but still you manage to express it. Before, you didn't feel like you could. Keep building on your own happiness. You are on a beneficial path. Truly. Your spirit guides want you to know everything's already happening. You are in a forward moving energy. If you can't see synchronicities yet, know that they will come quickly. This reminds me. So, I got a message on my Instagram because usually when I'm lost, I would just open Instagram. I have select people I follow on there, and usually the first two posts are relating to what I need to go through. It's just been that way. That's how me and my spirit talk. You know what I mean. I don't go on media unless I need like advice or if I'm posting on things. I try not to anymore. Um, but I got a message yesterday and it was like, your guides need you to look at synchronicities more. Look at, allow your imagination to run wild more. Stop being so strict. Um, and I was thinking about that because again, like part of the flaw of Anubis is being the judge of the heart. So I judged myself a lot. And I've been transmuting that judgment instead of it putting me down, to um, make me flourish more, make me bloom quicker. You know what I mean? And I got heavily like your guides in the message they were saying that your guides are doing things around you already. It's just you can't see it yet because your imagination's being blocked. You're taking life too serious again. You need to have more light and lighten things up. And I was like, yeah, I do. And after I seen that message, boom, everything else started clicking. And it's because you get in this subconscious mode when you're healing. And it happens to me still sometimes too, because it's a work in progress. You know what I mean? I might be an ascended master in the soul, but my 24-year-old fleshly body still struggles with little things that I got to work out with. You know what I mean? So when I did that, I experienced it like, yeah, everything is fine. I'm just being very cynical for some reason. So I got to find out why, and I found out why all that shit's gone. And once you get the hang of it, once you really figure out the true meaning of it, it disappears just as quick as it came. And it's so beautiful because it shows you that just as fast as that comes on is as fast as it can leave, and it allows you to see really how fast your life is and how you need to slow down. Anyway, back to the message. We are sending you signs in the form of outer events. Let yourself be guided. Keep nourishing what is most beautiful in you. Don't try to control things. All you have to do is experience the present moment and be spontaneous. Soon, your inner happiness will be carried into your outer life. You will create everything that matters to you. Your wants are in line with your needs, and you are connected to yourself. Everything is falling into place. Everything is beautiful. You can already embrace the fruits of your efforts and bring your projects to life. Beautiful. The entity or God or the mystery, whoever you want to claim this to be, the entity wishes you to know. The entity is really just it. You know what I mean? I am happy now, even if things were easy for me. As well, funny thing as well, with the entity, and this is one rule that I really do apply. With the entity, this is, you can also think of this as a past person's soul. Because sometimes when I pull these cards for myself, it will resonate with a soul. I'll pick up a soul from someone in the past, and it's like, so you're good now. It's good. Their soul is okay. Their flesh might be struggling, but their soul's okay. Because we're here to enlighten souls, not the flesh, remember. So you can take the entity as it resonates, but allow it to be in this pure energy because that's where the soul is, not the flesh. And this is what this journey is about, is the soul and the spirit, not the flesh. Always remember. But the entity wants you to know, I am happy now. Even if things weren't easy for me, I was happy then. Always had that childlike fire, letting me experience things intensely. Yes, I may have been clumsy, but I always found moments of happiness even in hard times. I am guiding you towards happiness. I am sending you signs to help you create your own happiness and understand it within your reach. Be proud of yourself. You already have everything within you. You've already managed to do things that I could not do. Keep going on this path. Keep shining as you are right now. You do not need to contact me directly. When you are happy, we are aligned on the same frequency. I am with you, and I am happy with and for you. You are creating a wonderful path, and it is beautiful, and beautiful surprises are in store for you. Keep moving on these beautiful waters. While the waters I sailed were filled of hardships, for you they are peaceful. Enjoy it all from me. And again, this could be relate the entity to what it is. It's the entity for a reason. It's not named for a reason. Okay. But allow the nurture, allow that connection to be pure in love. Don't allow fear to go into it because the second fear goes into it is when things start going downhill. Okay. When you operate out of true authentic love, nothing can happen. Truly, honestly, like nothing bad can ever happen out of true love. Genuinely, honestly. And it involves you accepting true love and it involves you understanding what true love is as well. Yep, education. Beautiful. Yep, education is the second one. So that's 6 and 3, which is interesting. 12 for education, I should say, but it's 3. So yeah, this is you just learning how to move with yourself again. This is what's going on with you. You're learning how to walk in your own shoes again, walk your own path again. You've almost forgot, you know? So education. You have learned, your soul wants you to know, you have learned to wear a mask. I got to move my leg. It's going to explode. Jesus Christ. You have learned to wear a mask when you are in contact with others. Learn to show some things, but keep others to yourself. Learn to rely on what others want. Learn to take all criticism into account, even if not constructive. These things you have learned disrupt our connection and communication. They connect you to your mind. And while you hear my voice, it's from very far away, like barely a perceivable whisper. Today, release these things you have learned if they no longer hold meaning for you. Find a new connection with me. Rediscover your inner beauty. Rebuild your frame of reference. Allow your own ideas and wants to flourish. This will help you hear me again as a calm, clear, and gentle voice. Your spirit guides want you to know part of you is attached to a single way of contacting us. You may be you may feel, I love how that just like, I love reading that first sentence because I always talk about it and it's just so beautiful. You may feel like you need a specific ritual to communicate with us. That is not so. You only need to open your heart and speak honestly and sincerely, whether out loud or in a whisper. I'm telling you, this is all they want you to do. Practices exist to help you connect with your inner being, but we are always here. Because you have your free will, we can't decide or act for you, but our presence is strong. You can get in touch with us through astral journeys. If you need specific signs, we invite you to meditate. It will help you feel our presence and understand our messages. Create your own rituals, distance yourself from old beliefs. You are evolving, and so is your practice. Have confidence in yourself. The entity wants you to know. I was conditioned by my education in my past life. I thought it was normal, and I reproduced the same education myself. I thought rules set down since forever ago were the best. I thought being a good person meant copying what it always had been done, trying to define new rules. Rules, norms, and framework were so important to me. Now I realize that this closed my eyes to important things and prevented me from questioning. I didn't even question myself. I had to detach myself from these things now. I have detached myself from these things now, excuse me, and I invite you to do the same. Create your own frame of reference. In the next few days, I will manifest myself through music you will be listening to. You'll realize it's me because the words will make you smile. You'll understand the message I'm trying to send you. Create your own freedom. I am working so you may do so now. It is very important. So yeah, it's really just you had to walk through the dark for a while, and that darkness allowed a lot of the shadow to almost come back and attach itself in the ways that you were trying to remove it. Well, not remove it, but transmute it. We're going to use the animal spirit deck to find out what advice we'll get four. We'll get four of these. What advice? What advice? What advice? I'll just let you all fly out, I guess. Jeez, man. All right, here. I'll split for the last one. Yeah, that's good. All right, so we have Phoenix, Vulture, Hummingbird, and Gazelle. Let me get to Gazelle, because that's the fire energy. We'll read Gazelle for you. But off bat, gazelles are beautiful. Gazelles are about awareness. Gazelles are very conscious beings. You'll literally see them drink water, not even paying attention, and then like when a cheetah or something pops up, they boom off. They're very aware of their surroundings, very sensitive, very energetically aware. The gazelle, heightened awareness and ability and vulnerability. Oh my goodness. Why am I turning it? I can just look at the card and turn it that way. The gazelle represents supreme grace. With every move, this awe-inspiring beauty amidst sophistication and elegance. Gazelle personalities are often hyper aware of their surroundings, bordering on hypervigilant, and this can inhibit them from enjoying the beauty they spent so much effort cultivating. No more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. When I tell y'all to stop watching those readings about whatever the fuck people are doing or what people think of you, I mean so. And this is the divine telling you straightforward, listen to what I say. Please. I'm here to help. I don't care. Anyway, no more worrying about all those predators out there in the wild. When this card appears, it's time to get back to the present moment. Sit down, find your breath, and acknowledge the bounty that surrounds you. Let it nourish your gentle spirit. When in balance, graceful, perspective, and artistic. When out of balance, food allergies, insomnia, and mind racing. To bring into balance, yin yang, a cozy home, and good food. Okay, let's go. Do we have hummingbird first, or is it vulture? I'm curious. Who's here? Hummingbird. Word. Hummingbirds. I love hummingbirds. My mom had a hummingbird feeder outside our front porch when I was growing up. And every morning I would like watch the hummingbirds eat the nectar. And I cried one morning because I wasn't able to drink the hummingbird liquid before I went to school. So I started crying because I couldn't drink it. It looked like I didn't know what it was. I thought it was like Kool-Aid or something. So I was like, why can't I have it? Like, what the fuck? They're like, mom's like, you can't. It's not for you. I was like, but they get it. But hummingbirds, positive, enthusiastic, and spiritually resourceful. Inside the tummy, oh my God, here we go. Inside the tiny hummingbird resides an endless well of energy and positivity. The hummingbird's secret is that it has learned where to gather nectar and it returns to these sources daily for nourishment and rejuvenation. This sacred elixir springs from many sources, but usually involves nature, creativity, and exploring spirituality. Follow the way of the hummingbird and you cannot go wrong. Every droplet of life becomes sweet, every moment worth savoring. When in balance, smart, curious, loves to learn. When out of balance, pushy, insistent, and sharp. To bring into balance, take a class. Beautiful. And vulture comes after that. That's crazy. I love vultures. So for some reason, people think vultures are a bad sign. I don't think they understand what a vulture does. Have you seen what a vulture does? Like, do you know what, like, I'm just asking, like, I'm not trying to say anything mean either, but like, for the ones that think that vultures are like evil omens, do you see what they do? Like, they clean. How is cleaning evil? I don't know. Get logical with it. Vulture, guardian and purifier, essential for rebalance. The vulture is perhaps the most misunderstood creature of all, very much so. No, secondly to the snake. Well, yeah. Well, actually, no. The snake. I think the snake is behind a vulture because when people see vultures, they just look at it and think it's an ugly eagle, which is really mean. But this intriguing bird balances our ecosystem and prevents the spread of disease. It does the dirty work so that no one else wants to do and cleans up our messes. The vulture appears when there's a situation that needs to be purified or brought back into balance. Remember, the vulture is greatly undervalued. What you thought was a mistake or a tragedy is a blessing in disguise. When imbalanced, clarifies, reveals wisdom. When out of balance, dramatic and aggressive. To bring into balance, clean your space and sage. Or Santo, or whatever you got. Y'all know the rule. But we have Phoenix right now. And this is the last one. This represents spirit. I love the shine on it. But we have Phoenix, freedom from suffering and past karma, reincarnation. The phoenix represents a transformation of our past. It does not mean burning it, running from it, denying it, or burning bridges with rage. The phoenix employs an advanced technique described in yoga as the burning of impurities through practice and dedication, or tapas. The essence of the phoenix is with us when we realize that we have been suffering for too long and something must change. We take a stand and decide to live consciously instead of being driven by the unconscious mind and its long list of fears and aversions. At that very moment, the spark of the phoenix is lit, and this great bird helps us burn through our baggage. We no longer run from who we are, what has happened to us, or what we have done. The stuckness and dead weight fall into the ashes and a lightness and clarity emerge. As the stagnancy continues to smolder, the phoenix lifts our spirits up and up, and we begin to recognize ourselves again. We may catch a glimmer in our eye that wasn't there before. Look closely, that's a sign of the fire of transformation is upon your eyes. And genuinely, when you see videos and their eyes have that shine in it, they're going through it. I've seen that for me a lot of times. I've seen that shine, that glare in my eyes so many times. And when you see that in yourself, just know that that's you. You're waking up again. That's you waking a new version of yourself up inside of you, and you're going into that timeline. But the phoenix in the first chakra, the ancient yogis believe that our heaviest karmas reside at the first chakra. This earthen center is also called the Muladhara or our root. The essence of the phoenix begins here, and the entanglement of karmas is slowly burned, and it rises from the ash towards the navel center. Again and again, it makes this journey from first to third chakra, purifying our essence, freeing us from the past. And as you know, the first three chakras are the low vibrational chakras, are the ones attached to reality, the ones that we tend to have more affected by external values than internal. But this has been the little shadow reading, I guess you could call it. Um, we're gonna start jumping in using more of the cards. I have new ideas, new things for them. I've just been thinking about ideas. Like I said, I was still gonna do divination, but in different ways. Um, at this moment, I'm still putting together a lot of other kits for divination and stuff. So, we're just gonna keep shit moving. You know what I mean? But regardless, thank you so much for being here. Um, if you're wanting any sort of bracelet, you can hit up Otter Spirit in the description. Use code Sibling20 for 20% off the order. If you're wanting any of my services, readings, one-on-one work, any of the books I have, anything, hit up the order form or email me. They're all in the description as well, and I got you all set. Regardless, thank you all so much for being here for the likes, comments, shares, subscribes, and donations, whether they are energetic or financial. I appreciate them wholly and fully, tenfold and forever. I love you all, do the moon and back tenfold and forever. And I will see you later. Take care.